Hello YouTube, Robin Hood Bricks here, and today we're going to continue with the development of the beach area by introducing the hidden side shrimp shack. On first glance, it definitely doesn't look like all of this can fit in the very small hole I've left for it, but believe you me, it should fit, in that the main body of the building is 16 wide and I've left 16 studs there. This pillar's just temporary, so you can ignore that. We're going right to this edge. Now that does mean the roof is one wider on each side, which hopefully will be up here and will sort of seamlessly link with the sea wall. But all the rest of it is going to have to go. All this side stuff on this side, all the side stuff on this side, the tree, the stairs, which we don't need because we've got 2 sets of steps already. All this stuff on the front we can probably reuse along the front or somewhere else on the beach, but it won't be connected. I'm also going to get rid of the play feature on the top here, which is to do with the functionality with the app. I'm also going to de-ghost the whole thing by performing an exorcism and getting rid of features like that one and this one and all that sort of stuff. But I do hope I can keep the wonderful shrimp and diner sign, which is slightly out of shot, because they're pretty good, let's face it. Now, I haven't decided what I'm going to do for a back wall because we can't have us sort of staring into the abyss in this sort of hole here, so I'm going to have to think about that when I'm transferring it into position. I also quite fancy keeping the roof as an eating area because it will be kind of just above the boardwalk area, so with a couple of steps up it could be a very useful space. And it may be that I have the roof removable just so I can lift it off and look inside the kitchen, because if you don't know, the kitchen is very well equipped and full of good stuff, some of which might need amending just to get rid of these sort of play feature elements, as I say, but apart from that, it's something worth looking at. And then finally, I just think I have to add some tables, plates of food, and the odd seagull who's interested in getting an easy meal. Great, so let's get started. I'm going to break this down, losing all of its side bits, and then start transferring the floor to the beach level. Okay, so it looks a bit of a mess at the moment, but I've split things into the stuff over here that I'm probably going to recycle into the new shrimp shack. This heap over here at the back being the stuff that I probably won't use. And then I've got the main bit of the building just currently split into 2 pieces because it kind of falls apart when the base is apart. And I'm just sort of deciding exactly where I want this. So roughly it's going to be like that. And I think that'll look really good. Don't worry about the edge of the beach. I'll add a bit more sand so the beach will be a bit broader in front of it. Otherwise it'll almost be like the waves are crashing up against the edge of the shrimp shack itself. And then I was thinking about the space that we've got there and what the walls would be along the back. And I figure what I might do actually is just continue the seawall as if it wasn't there, and then build right up against it, and then I think the desired effect will be right in that will just become part of the back wall of the shrimp shack rather than the seawall. But I think that's the best way because it is going to be stuck out from the wall along its entire length. So I think I'll do that. The other thing is this brown plate layer, which is very nice, actually coincides very well with this brown layer as well. But at the moment, when I take it off this base, because I'll build it straight onto the sand floor because it's already got a black and white checkered floor on the inside, it'll actually be 1 plate lower than the brown layer. And I don't want the brown layer to sort of go along and then jump down a bit for a minute. So what I think I'll do is I'll put a bit more sand, which makes sense because it kind of be raised up a little bit like that, and then build on top of that like that, and then hopefully it will be really seamless. So that's what I'm going to go for. Seawall and then put that on an additional plate, and then we can take another look and see where we are. So I think that looks a bit better now, a bit raised and with some more seawall on. And the funny thing is, last time we did the beach, I thought I'd bought far too many yellow plates and far too many white slopes, and now I need more of both. So it actually turned out quite well. Right, so I've put it all in up to that brown plate layer, and you can see it's absolutely flush there with the wall. So I think that's a very pleasing effect. I haven't put in the floor yet because basically I don't want to do that until I commit to this, because otherwise it'll be very difficult to keep moving around. I've also put in the white slopes, most of them anyway. I've deliberately left this gap a 4 wide so I can have some steps, and that's because this is going to have the flat roof, and that's going to be kind of an eating area, so you can buy your shrimp at the stand, either eat it on the beach or come up one of the 2 flights of steps and go to the seating area on the roof. So I'm going to need some steps from the boardwalk, which is along here. So I think that'll look really good. And it's times like this that I'm really glad that I buy all the tread plate tiles I can on brick halls, because that's going to make this steps look really good. Another thing I've done is add a lot more of this fencing in. The brick hall that was this week had a lot of these pieces in, which enabled me to extend my chain fence, which originally only went up to about here. So that's very good, and that goes all the way along, and that should continue behind this with just that break for the steps. Now the next thing I need to do is decide how high I want the walls to be before we get to the tile layer for lifting the entire roof off so we can peer inside. I could replace these brown plates with a tile layer, which would be quite good because it's very open at this level, or it could be better structurally if I do a next level down, which is kind of this sort of white tile layer with all these bricks on the underside, have that permanently attached to the shack, and then have a tile layer so the very, very top roof only lifts off. And that might be better for holding it together because it's a bit rickety otherwise, and that means I'll have some quite steep steps going up to that level. Good. A couple of things as well while I'm here. I thought I'd put a door on this door because there is no door. And I thought this, although it is a trans black glass piece, I thought it might look a bit like a sort of mosquito screen door. So I thought I'd include that. It's the best I've got in the ones available anyway, and I can just have that sort of leaning open the whole time. And then the other thing is, this window on this side doesn't have one of these shutters, which means they can't close up shop really. So in one of my brick hauls, I bought another dark bluish grey one of those. So let's see if I can fit that in on camera. Yep, there we go. So that can open there, but most of the time I imagine that one would be shut. So that's really good. Right, so next layer on, steps and a tile layer. Okay, so I've added the tile layer on top of those bricks, and I think it is the right decision. It's a lot more structurally sound now. Nothing's moving that, and it can be built firmly into the seawall as well. So yeah, I'm going to keep it like that. And then the roof is very thin as a result, so I've just reinforced that with a couple of plates just so it fits perfectly in the hole and therefore aligns really easily. So that's a snug fit and looks pretty good. So the next thing I need to do is get the steps up to here. So I've got one tread plate that will be sort of in the pavement, so to speak, and then a little assembly here of a couple more steps, continuing that brown plate layer, unbroken throughout the step thing as well. And you can see those coming up there. So it's very neat, and they're equally spaced. It actually works out very well to get up to there. I might put another one right on the roof in due course, but I think I'll keep it rough, and I'll add a couple of tables and a better barrier in due course. But at the moment, I think that looks good. So there's the steps again. Now another feature that was on the original was this sort of stovepipe sort of chimney, and I wanted to put that back. I won't put it on the side it was on originally because I don't want it getting in the way of the door, but I thought I could put it on this side over here, but then it does get in the way of this chain fence. So I thought what I could do is actually just extend it away from the building one, and then we should be able to have both. So take that off temporarily. Now this is light bluish grey, whereas the rest of the bricks around the area are dark bluish grey, so I'll swap that over. I also don't like these sort of chinks of red colour through both of these bits, so you can get that too long axle piece in black, so I will do that for both of those. Okay, so that's looking a lot better already. And then just to get it one away from the wall, I'm going to use a 3 long axle piece, and I can only use a grey one, unfortunately. And then I've got sort of an extender to cover that bit that's in a sort of gunmetal silver colour. So then I should be able to apply that to the model. Push the axle properly in. There we go. And then I'm thinking the chain fence can kind of just go over the top because I do want that to remain unbroken. Yep, and that works. I can put that back and we're all secure again. So that's pretty good. I like that. Now also I can finish off my chain fence, even though it's right up against the wall. I think it'll look better when it's complete. And it just so happens that the spacing is absolutely perfect to put a couple more in right up to the edge of the steps. I suppose it wouldn't have mattered if there'd been sort of one gap on either side or something like that, but it works perfectly. So let's put this back now. And there we have it. Roof on. Right, so I need to fill the insides with all of the kitchen equipment and the black and white floor now, and then we're nearly there. And just a quick view from a lower angle so you can see the same thing. There's the roof, and these red bits actually quite pleasingly kind of stick out a little bit. What was on there before was the plates with rail pieces, so it kind of stuck out a little all the way along. But now when I put the roof back on, you can see it's almost like some red eaves are sort of showing through 1, 2, 3, 4 along there as well, and I quite like that. Anyway, it adds a lot more strength to the layer below if I use a 1x8 tile. And there's the stovepipe sticking out, so I'm glad we were able to keep that. And there's the hatch that shall probably remain closed. Yeah, it's looking good. Right, so there's the floor in. That means I can put the rest of the kitchen equipment in. It's got all sorts of cookware there. Grills and griddles and hobs and all the rest of it. And this is the chef from the set. And he looks rather splendid, if a little grubby. And he's got a silver pan on and he's giving us a wave. So I've put in a 1x2 plate at the back so he can stand there. And I hope you'll be able to see him through the central window. And another thing that I want to have showing through a window is some of his cooked shrimp. And that is a 1x2 tile, which was part of the Chinese New Year's Eve dinner set 80101 that came out last year. And it's a very good looking tile, and I thought that would sort of be like that, ready for pickup, because maybe he's just emptied this large pot of shrimp onto this plate and it's ready for the waitress. And the waitress is very busy. She also came with this set. She's a very neat uniform. She's got a tray and she's already delivering a plate of big shrimp to some of her customers. So I can have her sort of around about here or something like that. I can position it better when I've got everything rebuilt. And one that I will be using in this place as well is this crabs as well, because there's a crab on the sign there. It does say fresh seafood, so it's not just shrimp. This is from the same New Year's Eve dinner set, And it's because I used all the other tiles in my Chinese floating restaurant to great effect. But I had a few left, and I didn't want to do overkill in that location. And I knew that I'd be doing this, so I've saved them until now. So she can go on the top deck, as can that plate of crab for a lucky customer. Right, I'm going to rebuild the front of this, and then we'll almost be done. And here is the front view with the hatches open and the plate of shrimp there ready to be picked up. It does get a little dark when you put the roof on, but still looks very good. Very happy with that. And here we are with a finished roof. I've just put in some random tables made out of the brown crates with jumper plates on top. And I've got two patrons. One's just receiving her plate of shrimp, and this guy's tucking in to some crabs. Weirdly with a spoon, but nonetheless, that's what I had to hand. So that is the Hidden Side Shrimp Shack, set 70422, in place, built into my seawall in the beach of Brick, Nottingham. And I'm very happy with it. But there is one thing that is still outstanding, and that is the huge shrimp sign with the diner sign on the top as well. And I do think I want to incorporate this as well. Now, the really bad thing is that it's massive, and wherever I put it, it's going to be too big. But I think the best place for it is here. And although the top of it is out of shot, and the fact that it's going to obstruct our view a little bit when we get the row of modulars in, despite that, I don't think I can put it anywhere better. Now, the other thing that worries me is that every time I reach over this, I'm just going to knock it and it will fall over, and it will start to really annoy me because it's something quite tall at the front. However, that said, it does look great there. Now, if we're going to put it there, I have to exercise it, i.e. remove all the ghostly stuff. So there's lots of bits to change on the back of this shrimp and on the back of this and so on. So I'm going to do that, and then we can put it in place. I've even got a replacement for this, because you've got a dark grey bit next to a light grey bit, and I prefer to have them the same colour. So I got one of those on a brick haul. That looks better already. I have got a yellow one of these sort of shoe pieces on order, or rather on a wanted list, but I haven't been able to find one yet. They're not as common as you might think, so I'll have a tan one for now. So that's the post done. As for the shrimp, I'm just going to remove all the black bits and all the spring green bits. So there we are. And I can add another white one of those, a red one of those, a black eye, two red ones of those, and even two more of these tiles. So now he looks the same on both sides. Very good. So I can attach him back. Great. Okay, and there it is in all of its glory. The Shrimp Shack Attack set 70422. I think it looks really good. This sign is arguably too big, but it does look fantastic. The roof comes off very easily, so you can look inside and see the chef hard at work. And it goes on just as easily again. So I'm very happy with that. It's looking good. We've got a door, an extra shutter on this side. We've kept the stovepipe. Yeah. And we've even got some wonderful steps coming up from the newly tiled boardwalk. I think one final touch might be adding a hungry seagull who's bothering the patrons. And while I remember, I better do the vehicle of the day, which is this wonderful little blue tuk-tuk from the company Banana Co. And he's got a big crate of bananas on the back. A jolly chap there. And that's from the set 76026, Gorilla Groot Goes Bananas, which is a superhero set. And I can put that on the roads over near the cinema. And there's the chef. The chimney coming out the side. And the door. And then up on top, got a boy and a lady and a wishful seagull enjoying their fresh seafood. And then we've got the de-ghosted sign, open 24 hours, diner. And I think we're going to have another diner in this area actually, so they'll have competition because we'll have the modular diner as one of the three along here. And you can see now I've got this chain link fence all the way from here, all the way behind the beach huts, a little bit of tiling missing, all the way behind here. You can see there are the steps meeting with the pavement. Ooh. And it continues all the way to this, all the way along here, right to the end. And then, yep, I've run out again. Run out of tiles, one by one round bricks. I think I've got a couple more of the chains, so I've got enough of those. But yeah, still not got enough to do the top there, so I'm going to have to do yet more orders. But that means more brick hauls on a Wednesday. So I think the area is looking pretty good, actually. We're not going to have much water by the end of this, just enough for sort of splashing about and so on. But that's fine because we've got plenty of bigger water areas for boats elsewhere. And I had hoped to get on to populating these beach cabins today, but that took a lot longer than we thought. So basically, I think we're going to have to save that for another time. And here's all of you on the global tour bus watching progress. And then over here is the newly placed Banana Co. tuk-tuk, which I think is rather a smashing build. I managed to get just that without buying the whole set by getting it on eBay a while back. And I'm very glad I did. Great. Oh, I've taken off the... oh no, I haven't taken off the mountains. Yeah, I was trying them in the middle. So tell me what you think of that, actually. But I'm almost at the point of taking off those mountains behind the Yeti entirely. Good. So all that was taking a pre-built set, changing it a little and building it into a wall. But it ended up taking quite so long time, didn't it? Oh well. At least the result we've got is pretty much perfect, with the fence, the steps, and everything just dovetailing perfectly. So I'm very happy with that. And even the sign in its very prominent position, I'm happy with too. So that only leaves me to say thank you very much for watching. Do remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more awesome LEGO videos. And next time on Robin Hood Bricks, we'll be back in this area, and hopefully I'll do the beach cabins. Hopefully I'll do the pedestrian rail crossing, which is going to be about here. And maybe we'll even get some of these modulars in place. That'll be good. See you then.